that we completed. And then after that, we discussed about the 3 types of Shakti. The Vrajagopikas, the Dwaraka Mahishis, and the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha. Lakshmi. So this was discussed. And after the Shakti Tattva was completed, then we went to the next sloka. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudodaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamonudau. So we did discuss about what is this Pushpavando. Sun, moon, kaun hai? Yes, normally sun, moon appears together, eclipse hota hai. And that is something we are not supposed to see. But this is a very beautiful appearance of sun and moon, the transcendental sun and moon, whose darshan we should constantly see in this age of Kali Yuga. So that who are the sun and moon, Krishna, Balaram, non-different, we discussed that. And then we discussed a lot of time we spent upon what? Shamdau, Tamonudau. Tamonudau, destroying the darkness. So what is the darkness? The destruction of darkness. That darkness is Kaitava. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Yes? So even the Shubha Karma and Ashubha Karma, they are also Kaitavas. We discussed that. And then the Kaitava Pradhan is merging into the existence of Lord. That was discussed. Then we also discussed about Shamdau, giving benediction. So benedictions of this Panchatattva or Gauranga Mahaprabhu comes in the form of 2 Bhagavatas. The book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat. So the book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat, both these Bhagavatas, they enable one to experience the Bhakti Ras. And here is where we concluded. So 100 slokas over. Now we are on sloka number 101. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, those of you who have your apps, you all can pull out your apps here, so that we'll be reciting it together. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, Aadi Lila, first chapter, shloka number 101. So from here, so far we have discussed about Pushpa Gaudode Pushpavanto, the sun and the moon. We have discussed about Tamonudau, dispelling the darkness, Shamdau, bestowing benediction. So now the last part that is remaining in the Tattva is about the aspect of Vande Shri Krishna, Chitra, wonderful. What is so wonderful? Chitra means something extraordinary. It's called Chitra. So what is it? Chitra. It's actually in Sanskrit, Vichitra means very amazing. On the other hand, in Marathi, Vichitra means something which is very horrible. Hey, Vichitra hai. So it has a negative connotation. So one day, I had a student called Vichitra. Marathi wala nahi, Sanskrit wala. So he had gone. He was in Pune. So he went around telling his name. My name is Vichitra. And see, Vichitra now ekdam. But actually, Vichitra in Sanskrit is very, very glorious. It's very wonderful. Extraordinarily wonderful. That is the meaning of Vichitra. So Chitra is something which is going to be spoken from 101st shloka. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay. एक अद्भुत समकाले दोहर प्रकाश आर अद्भुत चित्त गुहार तम करे नाश. So our trend is we recite together only. There is no repetition so that we can cover more. All right. So Adbhuta. Now in this particular shloka, if you see 2 times Adbhuta is coming, which means this shloka is talking about what? Chitra. That what is that speciality in that shloka? Chitra kya hai? What is that Adbhuta? Samakale Dohara Prakash. So that is the beauty of the sun and moon appearing together. Yes, as I previously also said, sun and moon appearing together produces eclipse. This is not very auspicious, cannot be seen. Those who have tried to see it have got blinded. Yes. And the timing is also very inauspicious. But now here, the appearance of sun and moon, samakale. Samakale means at the same time. Eka adbhuta samakale dohara, both. Dohara prakash, both of them are manifested at the same time. Ara adbhuta chitta guhara tamakare nash. So they have appeared together. Matlab dekhiye, now this is not something which is going to be inauspicious. This is going to produce a synergizing effect. This is a synergy. Ek aur ek, 11. So this is ek aur ek, 11 wala effect. So adbhuta chitta guhara, in the core of the heart, in the chitta. Actually, there are two things in Sanskrit. There is something called chit and there is something called chitta. Chit and chitta. Now, when we talk about Sat Chit Anand, so here the word chit refers to one's consciousness, and also chit refers to Sat means eternal, chit means full of knowledge. That is the nature of soul. But when the soul comes from the spiritual world to this material world, this chit becomes chitta. So when we talk about chitta, chitta is actually impure consciousness. It's impure consciousness, or it's perverted consciousness. So here, adbhuta chitta guhara. Chitta guhara means that consciousness, that impure consciousness, that tamaha, that darkness is kare nash, they destroyed. So these Gaur Nitai, these both brothers, Duhar, these two personalities, what they do is, through their wonderful pastimes, through their wonderful appearance, they convert the chitta back to chit. In this material world, chitta becomes chitta, but the moment these two appear, they convert the chitta into chit. So the impure consciousness becomes pure consciousness. Next loka, together. Chandra Surya Doi Parama Sadaya Jagatera Bhagya Gaude Karile Udaya. Hare Krishna. So this Chandra Surya, this sun and moon, Dui Parama Sadaya. Daya means what? Mercy, merciful, Daya. Sadaya, very kind. Parama Sadaya, very, very kind. So these two are very, very kind. Very kind. Normally we say sun is not very kind after 9 o'clock. Yes. And moon is also not very kind. Moon is kind only on full moon. New moon. Uska moon ka bhi kam hota rehta hai. But this sun and moon never diminish. Yes, they never diminish. If you see, Gauda Karile Udaya, Jagatera Bhagya. So the entire universe, the entire world, Jagatera Bhagya. Bhagya means what? Bhagya means fortune. Gauda Karile Udaya. This starts from here. Normally the land of rising sun is, according to modern philosophers, but actually according to our Shastra, it's Peru. It's Peru now. That is the land of rising sun. Peru, South America. That's the land. It's given in the Shastras. And we consider that, what is it? GMT. Yes, Greenwich Mean Time. But actually it's Ujjain, Avantipur. Avantipur, Ujjain. So right side of Ujjain is actually, okay, do you imagine to your right, it is as per the Shastra's convention, that is called as the Eastern world. And the left of Ujjain is called Western world. So we are in the West. Pune is West. So West nahi West. We are in the Western part of the world. So Ujjain divides exactly into two halves. So Jagatera Bhagya Gauda Karile Uday. So normally the land of rising sun is Peru, or some call it Japan, but here the land of rising of sun and moon has become Gauda Desh. Gauda Desh is Bengal. So Bengal has become the land of rising sun because the sun and moon both have appeared here. Either I have. And through here, from Gauda, they are going to spread their mercy everywhere and give Jagatera Bhagya. And that is what has happened. That's why Srila Prabhupada would say, Mayapur, Sridham Mayapur is our international headquarters. Why? Because this is the spiritual capital of the whole world. Yes, this is the spiritual capital. Alright, so Prabhupada had his temples made in 3 places. Major, of course, he was in Hyderabad also, he had a temple. But 3 main places Prabhupada's heart was there. He would say Vrindavan, well, that is very close to the political capital. Juhu, Mumbai, is in the, yes, financial capital. On the other hand, Sridham Mayapur is the spiritual capital. Is the spiritual capital of the whole world. Okay, so they have appeared in Gaudadesh. Next, last sloka in this section. Together. Sei dui prabhura kari charana vandan yahan hite vigna nash abhishta puran. So now what way they are going to give bhagya? How is it that they are bestowing fortune? Simply, Sei dui prabhura charane kare vandan. You just fall at the lotus feet of these two personalities, two things will happen. What is that? Vigna nash abhishta puran. Vigna nash means what? Whatever obstacles you're facing in your life will be destroyed. The obstacles are destroyed. Number two, abhishta puran. Whatever your desires you have, that will be fulfilled. Isse badi aur kya chahiye? What else you need other than this? The obstacles are going to go away and you're going to meet your desires. This is the greatest thing, that wonderful pastime that they come to perform. This actually is a benediction even with 6 Goswamis. Narottam Das Thakur sings, E chai go chai kori charanavandan yahan hoite vigna nash abhishta puran. Because the 6 Goswamis are nothing but pure devotees of Chaitanya and Nityananda, they also bestow the same potency of vigna nash abhishta puran, destroying the all varieties of obstacles, vigna and abhishta puran. So even Ganapati, Vignesh, they call him Sukhaharta, Dukhaharta, Varta, Vignachi. They call him Vignesh, correct? But he develops the potency from them. So the potency to do Vigna Nash is in Krishna Balram. Yes, they have that. And because Ganeshji is holding the lotus feet, Yat Pada Pallava Yugam Vinibhaya Kumbha Vande Samana Pralaye Adi Ganada Adi Raja. So this comes in the Brahma Samhita. But how Ganesh or Ganpati, he is having the continuous. You have seen that marks on Ganesh soon? Red. What is that? So many lotus feet of Lord. Because you people have only one chota nose. So you can have only one tilak. But I have a big nose, I can have so many tilaks. So he applies a lot of tilaks. And that same tilak he applies throughout. So the lotus feet of Lord, he is indicating, I am the servant at the lotus feet of Lord. And whatever power I have to become Vignaharta is coming from the Lord. Correct? And Ganeshji is actually the devotee of Narsimhadev. He is a devotee of Narsimhadev Bhagwan. Narsimhadev Bhagwan ki. Okay. So now the section of Chitra is finished. That means at 103, the discussion of the second shloka of Chaitanya Charitamrta, the second Mangalacharan, is also complete. So now what will follow now here is a kind of conclusion and Fala Shruti. So just as every Shastra has a Fala Shruti, that means if you read this Shastra, what will you get? If you read this section, what will you get? Yes, if you understand this conclusion, what will you get? This is how the Shastras are made, Fala Shruti. So the Fala Shruti is something which is given here. From 104 to the end of the chapter is Fala Shruti and conclusion. So let's go 104. Eidu shloka kaila mangala vandana tritiya shlokera artha shuna sarvajana. So these two shlokas kaila mangala vandan. So far I have described 2 shlokas of my Mangalacharan. How many shlokas are there? 14. And then there are 3 Mangalacharan shlokas of Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan. Tritiya shlokera artha shuna sarvajan. So third shloka will be explained in next chapter. So please hear the verse he is telling, but that will be explained in next chapter. 105 together. Vaktavya bahulya granta vistaradare vastare na varni sarartha kahi alpakshare. Hare Krishna. So he is telling that Vaktavya bahulya granta. I don't want to create a vistar in a big volumes of volume. I don't want to create. I'm not just simply aspiring to fill up the pages of the book. Bahulya Vistara Grantha. I don't want an elaborate. ऐसे पढ़ने वाले लोग. उसको बस इतना बड़ा किया तो nobody will be able to finish. So I'm not giving very elaborate descriptions. डरे. Why? Because I'm fearful. He's explaining that very. I'm having a fear. What is that fear? Vistare na varni sarartha kahi alpakshare. I'm doing alpakshar. I'm just writing the alpakshar means essence. Little. words. Vistarena, sararthad kahi. I will only speak the essence. And alpakshar, in few words I'll explain essence. Why? He has a fear. What is his fear? Because what is the age of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? He's almost in his mid-90s. So mid-90s means one is preparing for final overs, death overs, last overs. So anything can happen. That's why if I keep elaborating, I'll not be able to complete the book. So I'll keep explaining essence in few words only. He's very conscious of his age. And what is that ability that he is going to adopt that is called here? 106. Mitam cha saram cha vachohi vagnita iti. Vagnita. 106 is explaining that I am going to elaborate, I am going to adopt one quality. It's called Vakmita. Vakmita. Mita means what? Mita bhuk means what? One who eats mildly, meagerly. So Vakmita means what? One who speaks less. But Vakmita is not a, अरे कुछ बोलते ही नहीं आप सर, हम इतना बात कर रहे हैं आपसे, आप कुछ बोलते ही नहीं, मतलब क्या है? No, Vakmita is a very good quality in Shastras. On the other hand, Dilga Satri, one who speaks too much is condemned. So Vakmita means what? Vakmita means eloquence. The ability to concisely present the truth in as least words as possible. This is called eloquence. And this is a quality we all also should adopt. We ask a small question, a person elaborates the same question for 1 hour. Dekh rahe audience. अरे अगले क्वेश्चन भी है भाई. No, very short में you give the answer, you little bit elaborate the answer, give an example or explanation, again put back the point. Finish. This is the way to address. What is the way to address? Put the point shortly, give a small elaboration, give an example, and again put back the point. This is called eloquence. And people appreciate such teachers. People appreciate such speakers. On the other hand, somebody you ask a small question, थोड़ा सा सवाल, he goes into infinity loops. Loop के अंदर loop, उसके अंदर एक और loop, उसके अंदर एक और. भाई question क्या था मैं भूल गया गुरुजी. I forgot what question I asked. What is the use? अपना ही प्रश्न भूल गया मैं सर. So we shouldn't do like that. So that's what he's saying. I'm going to elaborate. I'm going to do this quality. I'm going to adopt this quality of Vakmita, eloquence. And what is Vakmita? Mitam. Yes, mitam means very concise. Saramcha, essence I will present. Vachohi, that much only I will speak. Okay, next. 107. Shunile khandi bechitera agyan adi dosha Krishna gada preme habe paiva santosha. What is he telling? Shunibe. Now he is giving the Fala Shruti. What is the Fala Shruti? Shunile, if you hear this literature of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, what will happen? Khandive means it will remove khandan ho jayega uska. What? Chittera ajnana adi dosha. So all doshas, all the faults, ajnana adi, that means like that of ignorance, and which ignorance produces. Actually, it's ajnan who produces everything. Ajnan is the root cause of everything. Ajnan produces what? Papa, pap karma, papa beach, papa kuta. All the prarabdha, aprarabdha. So aprarabdha falon papam bijam sarvam aviklavam. So there is a sloka there. Aprarabdha phalam papam bijam kutam aviklavam. Kamenaiva praliyeta Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmanam. Yes. So all these tendencies, Ajnanadi dosh will be destroyed. So Ajnan is the root. Na jad ko ukhad dunga. Ped sukh jayega. So Adi is not required as such. When you remove Ajnan, everything is gone. But still he is mentioning Adi also, saying that even that one will be destroyed. Don't worry. And what? That is one thing. This is called Anartha Nivritti. When you hear, there are two benefits. The first benefit is Anartha Nivritti, which means all the unwanted things will be removed. What is the second benefit? Artha Pravritti. Krishna Gada Prema Have Paiva Santosh. You will get very, very Gada Prema means condensed. How many of you like milk? So some people hate milk. But even those who don't like milk will love rabdi. Agreed? Rabdi so bahut acha lagta hai. Why? Because it is condensed. Slokas you're reading from the Veda will seem to be different from those in a CC book. Really, I am having a CC book also with me. मुझे तो सेम ही दिखाई दे रहा है. Anyway, don't worry. It's okay. Let's read. Nectar is there. We cannot change this literature so easily. You can check the chapter number, probably shloka number. एक बार check कर लीजिए. And if everyone is experiencing same thing, don't worry. Vedabhas is not wrong. Neither Chaitanya Charitamrta is wrong. We may be on the wrong page. Probably we can have a check. I may be on the wrong page. Okay? So Krishna Gada Prema, we get develop a condensed love for Krishna. And Pai-based Santosh, that will give the real satisfaction for the soul. That is what we are looking for, satisfaction. That you will get after reading. So everybody will develop. So although we may not develop Krishna Prem right now, अरे कहाँ प्रभु जी सुन रहे हैं, but satisfaction मिल रहा है कि नहीं? वो मिल रहा है. At least I am feeling deeply satisfied studying Chaitanya Charitamrta with all of you. That I am experiencing. मुझे तो experience हो रहा है. आपका पता नहीं, आपको experience हो रहा है? बताइए. You can tell. All right. So moving on. Next sloka. Together, twin verses. 108, 109. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Advaita Mahatva तार भक्त भक्ति नाम प्रेमे रस तत्व भिन्न भिन्न लिखिया चिकरिया विचार सुनिले जानी बे सब सार. हरि बोल. So 108 and 109 are talking about further benefits. So if you patiently hear this particular literature, what happens? सुनिले जानी बे, see विचार करिया सुनिबे जानी बे. So if you deliberately hear, see, we should not just like that hear this literature. This literature has to be heard with deliberation. I can see some of you making notes. That's very good. That's very nice. That means you're deliberating. You're forcing to think. Isme kya mila? What is there in this shloka? That's deliberation. What is the main? See, whenever we study, our study should be, the subject matter should be like a tree. Yes? The tree has a root. The tree has a trunk. The tree has branches. The trees have leaves. And trees have a fruit. So similarly, the concept that we study has a root. Because what is the root of the concept? Why are we discussing? Then there is a trunk of the concept. What is the trunk? What is the main theme? Branches are the different points. And what is the very, very objective deliverable we'll get? That is a fruit. And all other points are like the leaves, other side points coming in the branches. Correct. So like this, if we make our study, we'll be very wonderfully able to grasp all the subject matter. Yes. Okay, no problem. It's all right. You're on some other chapter probably. You're advanced. You're gone ahead. You're a very advanced devotee. You went ahead. Very nice. So Chaitanya Tattva, Nityananda Tattva, Advaita Tattva, Bhakta Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Nama Tattva, all this rasa tattva, one will learn the essence of all these tattvas one will learn. Tattvas means truth. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who is Nityananda Prabhu? Who is Advaita Prabhu? Who are the devotees? What is bhakti? What is the meaning of holy name? What is prema? What is rasa? See, we all may have some vague understanding of all this. But he is sure, tattva means fully. You will understand this completely if you keep studying Chaitanya Charitamrta with deliberation. सोचते पढ़ते रहना. We do this and vichar karna means again the tree. What is the main point? What are the branches? What is the root? What is the fruit? What are the leaves? Everything. So that is very, very important. कुछ मिला नहीं तो कोई भी चलेगा. Fruit तो मिलना चाहिए. प्रसाद मिलना चाहिए last में. So what is the fruit? At least that we should be very focused upon. So kariya vichar sunile janive sama vastu tattvasar. You will know the essence of all these things if you study, which means you become very, very knowledgeable. See what elaborate studies of Vedas. पहले तो पढ़ नहीं पाएंगे, पढ़ लिया तो समझ में नहीं पाएंगे, समझ गए बोला तो भी एसेंस क्या है बता नहीं पाएंगे. Yes, बता दिया तो भी सही से नहीं बता पाएंगे. So we don't have to go through all this elaborate Vedic study. We can easily escape that just by studying Chaitanya Charitamrta. We are going to reach the conclusion of everything. Some people ask, प्रभु जी भागवतम पढ़ा नहीं है, गीता पढ़ा नहीं है, फिर भी सीसी क्लास कर सकते क्या? करो. No problem. Because those days many people didn't know Sanskrit. Sanskrit is their bhasha. It was known to very refined Brahmanas. But Bengali is a simple bhasha. Any Indian can understand Bengali. This simple Bengali it is. Yes, and thus we can easily understand the Vedas. The conclusion of Vedas is presented so easily to all of us. So anybody can hear Chaitanya Charitamrta and attain the highest truth. It is like an LKG student getting IIT degree. We are not having the age, not having the basic 10th, 12th qualification. We have Prabhu's IITian. So IIT Kanpur. He knows what it means to get into IIT and become an IIT. Right? You can tell, oh, it's not a joke, it's not a child's play. No, it is a child's play. If you study Chaitanya Charitamrta, you want people, after studying all the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, including Bhagavatam, what you will get that in Chaitanya Charitamrta easily. And realistically, वरना वहां पर दिमाग लगाना पड़ेगा, बहुत दिमाग. इधर थोड़ा सा just सोचना पड़ेगा. Yes, the little deliberation is what is required. Conclusion verse of this chapter. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yar Ash Chaitanya Charitamrta Kahe Krishna Das. So this is how he concludes. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yara Ash. See, my expectation is that I simply remain at the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath. Rupa, actually it is not Rupa and Raghunath, it is Rupa to Raghunath. Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath. It is actually Rupa to Raghunath. Many of them ask, Prabhuji, बाकी के 4 Goswami को क्यों छोड़ दिया? No, it is Rupa to Raghunath. All are included. That's what Rupa Raghunath means, not just Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Goswami. Sit there. बाकी 4 we don't care. No. It is in between 4 and Rupa to Raghunath. जितने भी है, बीच के 4 भी. From Rupa to Raghunath, everybody. So Chaitanya Charitamrta Kahe Krishna Das. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports, the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, Aadi Lila, first chapter describing the spiritual masters. Successfully we have completed 1 chapter. Hari Bol! लेकिन अभी छोड़ेंगे नहीं. We have time. So we'll go to the 2nd chapter. Can we? We have some time. Should we? Depends on your enthusiasm and eagerness. करें आगे? Next shloka. Ready? Okay. So what happens in the next shloka? So next chapter is going to be the description of the 3rd shloka of Mangalachara. Because he told, right? I'm going to describe the 3rd shloka. So Chaitanya Charitamrta, Aadi Lila, 2nd chapter, 1st verse. Yes, we'll recite together. Shri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande Balopi Yad Anugrahat Tare Nana Matagraha Yaptam Siddhanta Sagaram. See, whatever I just now spoke about a child's play is what is described in the next verse. Somehow Krishna inspired me. I was aware of this verse, but it came out spontaneously. Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Mande. The moment you offer obeisances and worship Chaitanya, what happens? Balo api. Even if you're a kid. Balo means what? None of us are kid, Prabhu. No, kid in Bhakti. The number of years you have spent in Krishna consciousness is your age. And one of my Shiksha Gurus says the number of years in Krishna consciousness you have spent after initiation is your age. तो और भी हम बोले जाएंगे हम लोग. Some dude फिर prove हम लोग minus में. Don't worry, some of you will get initiated now. It's coming soon. Yes, Banopi Yad Anugrahat. So even if you are a small child, if you have the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is very merciful, Taret means you will cross over. What? Nana Matagraha. There are so many other false opinions, foolish philosophies. Kutarkas. They are all compared to what? Graha means crocodile. What is crocodile? If you see a crocodile in front of you, what you will do? If you run, they will catch. Just a tip for you. If you see a crocodile, you come under that situation, start running in zigzag manner. कैसे भागेंगे? Zigzag. वो crocodile confused होके उधर ही रुक जाएगा. If you run straight, he will catch you. ओके, याद रखिए. जैसे कुत्तों को देख के भागना नहीं होता है. गिव सम प्रैक्टिकल टिप्स आल्सो. कुत्तों को देखोगे, भौंक रहा है, खड़े रहो, उसको देखो, चला जाए. You run, he will surely run behind you. You run faster, he will understand you मेरा breakfast है. He'll call other friends also. Yes. Similarly, you see crocodile, you shouldn't run straight, you should run zigzag. And our Lord is zigzag. Tribanga Lalitam. Yes. So this Nana Matagraha, all other false opinions and very confusing opinions and philosophies. There was one particular spiritual so-called quote-unquote guru. I would like to tell, I will not take his name, many of you may know him. So that person comes and he speaks, he's very, very famous everywhere in social media and everything, YouTube and all. And what he speaks. So once I asked, I'm a follower of that guru. Which then I asked, what is philosophy? वो इतना अच्छा बोलते कुछ समझ में नहीं आता, इतना अच्छा बोलते. I told him, उसको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता होगा क्या. He himself will not understand what he is saying. खुद भी समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं पता नहीं उसको. So this is called Matagraha. These opinions are all, these foolish philosophies like this are all like this crocodiles will eat. But Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagaram. So this Siddhanta Sagar, the philosophies which are there will have such many, many opinions. But even a child can easily cross over this full Siddhanta Sagaram full of such crocodiles, misunderstandings, and cross this ocean if you have Mahaprabhu's mercy. And that is why it is said, especially if you study the first 9 chapters of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, which speaks about the entire Tattva. And the DM, I got the name of the Guru also. Correct, you're right. Satyam. So, if you see what I was telling, yeah, first 9 chapters, once you study them and understand them clearly, you will never ever have any kind of philosophical deviation. That means your philosophy becomes 100% correct. That's the philosophy. You will know everything. Every single thing is given in this philosophy. Whereas we will study this chapter seriously, then we will definitely be able to relish the entire Chaitanya Charitamrta. Okay. Next. Second verse. कृष्णोत्कीर्तन गान नर्तन कला पातो जनि भ्राजिता सद्भक्तावली हंस चक्र मधुपा श्रेणी विहारास्पदम् कर्णानंदी कला ध्वनिर्वहतु मे जिह्वा मरु प्रांगणे श्री चैतन्य दयानिधे धवलसा लीला सुधा स्वरुधिनी. Beautiful shloka. It's wonderful. Even this explanation will take one class. Krishna here refers to the name. Krishna. Always who says Krishna, what is that? Utkirtana. भगवान का नाम जो है मन में लेना चाहिए. नॉनसेंस, अटर नॉनसेंस. उत्कीर्तन, जितना जोर से हो सके उतना जोर से लेना चाहिए. Yes, Krishna Utkirtana Gana. And like that, we should not just say, we should sing. Song means there is a meter, there's a time signature, there's a tempo, there's a rhythm, there are notes, all these things. Of course, music पढ़ेंगे तो इनके बीच का फर्क समझ में आ जाएगा. I studied Western classical theory. Yes, it has everything. All these components are there. Then that becomes Gana. Yes, it becomes Gana. It is not something like the rap music what people have today. No, Gana, sweet. There is इसमें रस है, माधुर्य है. And along with, if you sing properly, so if you sing Krishna's names, Utkirtana, loudly, and Gana, you sing that, then Nartan, automatically dancing will also come. Yes, dancing is very natural. So dancing. And Nartana Kala Patha Jani Brajita. So we need to understand that this particular Lord Chaitanya, we need to understand that he is like the embodiment of all these wonderful dance and art and singing of Krishna's holy name. And this is like Pato Jani Brajita, blossomed lotus flowers. We don't like to see closed or lotus flowers which are like this hanging. Devotees' faces are like blossomed lotus flowers. That is why devotees are called lotus-like devotees. They are blossomed. On the other hand, you can little bit, don't see too much, little bit look outside, you'll find all faces gone. एकदम डल, रंग उतरा हुआ है, चेहरा उतरा हुआ है, जा रहे बस. They are not going because to company because they are in love with the boss. Boss प्रेम आ गया हमको. जाना पड़ता है प्रभु जी. Given a choice, we don't want to go. Yes. So that is beautiful. Sad Bhakta Avali. Sad Bhakta Avali. So Avali means rose. Bhakta Avali means rows and rows of pure devotees. Sad Bhakta. Pure devotees. Sad Bhakta Avali. Hamsa. So these all devotees are also called as swan-like devotees. Swan-like devotees we say. No? Hamsa, Chakra. Chakra is Chakravaka. Chakravaka is a very special kind of bird. There is no English translation for it. Chakravaka bird. Hamsa, Chakra. They are all whitish, swan-like devotees. Yes. Hamsa, Chakra, Madhupa. And devotees are also compared to bumblebees. Why? Because bees always go to nectar. Where is nectar? In flowers. Which flowers? Lotus flowers. What is lotus flowers? Krishna's lotus feet. So they always go to the lotus feet of Krishna. And another thing is bees also just like that go. Bees keep singing and going. Like that these bees go. They keep singing and going. Humming and singing and going. Madhupa. That's why they compare to even Madhupa. Bumblebees. Shreni Viharaspadam. So Chaitanya is the abode where these devotees go and reside. So Hamsas, so these all, imagine these creatures. Hamsa, Chakra, bees. So what kind of ambience? Very clean, very serene and very beautiful environment, correct? Yes, this is the Chaitanya's abode. Karna Anandi. Karna Anandi Kaladhvani. So Karna Anandi. ये सब जो है क्या है कर्ण को आनंदी ears become very happy. That is what actually people want to give pleasure to the ears. Giving pleasure to the ears is very common. That is why people what they do, even previously also people turn on radio. पहले आते some Lata Mangeshkar Geet, Mohammed Rafi, something like that. But that is Karna Anandi according to them. But what do our devotees do? Our devotees may put some Ayendra Prabhu. जल्दी जल्दी रेडी होना है तो आइंद्र प्रभु का ट्यून लगा दिया और सम डिवोटीज तो टुक कदम कानन महाराज का ट्यून वो तो हमारा बीवाईसी का ट्यून बन गया है हरे कृष्णा पीपल कॉल इट बीवाईसी ट्यून so that is a tune that people play in the morning, right? So Karna Anand, you want to hear something sweet in the morning. That is why we all come for Mangalarti. In temples, Mangalarti happens at 4:30. Karna Anandi. Karna Anandi Kala Dhvani. Kala Dhvani means very, very beautiful, melodious sounds. Vahatume, let it flow. Yes, and Jihva Maru Prangani. See, a tongue actually is always wet because of saliva. It's wet. But till the time one does not chant the holy name, it is actually maru, dry. And here he is comparing, the singer is comparing his song, his tongue to be like a very, very dry desert. Maru Prangani. Prangan means courtyard. So this is a very dry courtyard, which my jiva. So let the holy name be on my tongue. Shri Chaitanya Dayanide. Hey Shri Chaitanya, you are a Dayanide, ocean of mercy. You are a treasure of mercy, treasure house of mercy. Tava Lasat. Lasat means Lasat Kundalam. Lasat means shining. Lasat. Tava Lasat, you are shining. Lila Sudha Swardhani. So this is not Swardhuni means the Ganges. Ganges is called Swardhuni. She comes from Swargaloka and goes to the entire three planetary system. Swardhuni is Ganges. So Lila Sudha, that nectar of your pastimes, is like the Ganges flowing. Let it reside on my tongue, let it go through my ears, and let me sing and chant and dance about your Leelas. So this is a very, very, this is Chaitanya Charitamrta actually. This shloka is like the experience of Chaitanya Charitamrita summed up in one shloka. Right. I'll read the translation because many of you wanted to one line में कुछ translation. इतना सब कुछ discuss किया हमने. Yes. Oh, My merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges waters of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Let me recite. This is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is telling. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing and dancing and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name. That is the essence of the pastimes. Mahaprabhu's pastime means what? Kirtan. See, Krishna's essence of pastime is Ras Lila. And Ras Lila and Nam Sankirtan is non-different. Of course, in Ras Lila what happens? Ras Lila only the confidential gopis are allowed. Baki kisi ko entry nahi. No. Others all out. But in the Nam Sankirtan, which is equivalent to Ras Lila, everybody is allowed. Keho nache, keho gai, Sri Krishna Gopal, Prema Vista Basila Lokya, Stri Vriddhabal. Everyone is allowed. All of us together can do Sankirtan and take part in the Ras Lila of Kali Yuga. That's the beauty. So that's the essence. Which are the pleasure abodes of unalloyed devotees? Sad Bhakta Avali. These devotees are compared to swans, ducks, and bees. Three things. Why also I told you. Because swan, what it will do? Yes, the essence taker. Crane, ducks, they are in clean waters. They will never go to dirty places. So Chakravaka is compared to duck here. Actually, it's a special bird. Duck is baka. And bees are madhupa. They will go always fleeing to the lotus feet of Lord. The river's flowing produces a melodious sound that gladdens their ears. Amazing. Last sloka. This will not be the last sloka because this chapter is beginning. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. The beginning of every chapter. Tritiya Shlokera Artha Kari Vivarana Vastu Nirdesha Rupa Mangalacharana. So now this third shloka, which is being recited here, is actually telling us about Vastu Nirdesha Rupa Mangalacharan. So who is the object of worship? Mangalacharan we discussed, right, in the beginning. There are three Mangalacharans. Vastu Nirdesh, Ashirvad, and Namaskar. So Namaskar is over in the previous two verses. Previous two verses, what did you do? One day. Yes, one day. One day Gurun. One day Isha. One day Isha Bhaktan. One day Isha Avatarakan. One day Tat Prakasham. One day Tat Shakti. Krishna Chaitanya Samgyam. Then next verse. One day Sri Krishna Chaitanya. There is a specific Namaskar. One day Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Nityananda Sahottau. Gaudodoya Pushpavanto Chitro Samdo Tamonado. So the Namaskar is completed. So the third verse in the Mangalacharan is going to talk about Vastu Nirdesh. Who is the object of my worship? Who is the object of this literature? Who is the object? Kaun hai? Yes. So that is going to be described. Even in Bhagavatam, if you see, the first sloka, Janmadi Yasya Ataha, that is the Vastu, that is the Namaskar. Yes, Satyam Param Dhimahi. The second sloka of Bhagavatam is what? Vastu Nirdesh. Srimad Bhagavate Krite Mahamuni Krite Kimba. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimba Parerishwara. So that is the Vastu Nirdesh. And the third shloka is the blessing. Muhu Raho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. Rasa. Similarly, this particular third shloka, it is what? It is the Vastu Nirdesh. It's clarifying the object. Who is our object of worship? What is the object of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta? So we'll just recite the fifth sloka and we will conclude. Because this is the sloka on which we are going to discuss more. So I'll just recite, we'll read the meaning and conclude. I'll explain the meaning next time. In fact, I don't need to explain the meaning. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami will take one word and explain it. Yadaitvam brahmopanashadi tadapyasya tanubha ya atmantaryami purusha iti sosyam shakti bhavaha sad aishwaryai purnaya iha bhagavan sa swayam ayam na chaitanya krishna jagati paratattvam param iha. Translation, I just read it as it is. What the Upanishad described as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body. And the Lord, known as the Super Soul, is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna himself with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. So this is what Yad Advaitam Brahmopanishati. So the Advaita, the Brahman, which is described in the Upanishads, that is what? Nothing but the rays emanating from the body of the Lord. Ya Atmanta Vyami Purusha iti so asya amsa vibhava. We need to understand the super soul is nothing but plenary portion, expansion. Shad Aishwarya Purno Yahi Bhagavan Sa Swayam Yom. So this personality is Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Yes, na Chaitanyat. Krishna Jagati Paratattvam Iha. There is nobody superior to Sri Krishna Chaitanya. That is what is mentioned. So he is described as the Paratattvam here. Okay, we will stop here and we will discuss next week from here. And our objective to discuss, we'll try to complete till shloka number 27 next time. 4 to 27 we'll try to complete. That's a good section. And in case we are able to complete through fully there, we may proceed ahead to even the next section. But I'll try to complete there. I'm trying to finish this chapter in probably, I can complete this in 3-4 weeks. 3-4 classes we can complete this. It's a good discussion. All right, we'll stop here. Thank you all very much. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad ki jai. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much.